Who is the most valuable prospect that you can attract to your business so that you can have more sales and more profits? Hey, this is Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, and I want to share with you some practical advice that doesn't make any sense to the majority of the people online and makes all the sense in the world to those copywriters and marketers who are profiting from words that sell. And it's the fact that the public is the least valuable customer that you can possibly have. Now let's talk about this in detail. I'm looking at my analytics for a YouTube channel, and I've had 10,384 views in the last 28 days. There's 152 subscribers. 90% of the people who see these videos are not subscribers. Now, I could consider the subscribers as individuals on a mailing list and create additional content specifically for those subscribers, because analytics goes into details. I know what types of videos generate subscribers. I know what details are, their engagement metrics and the audience background. So for example, if I click on the audience background, I know the best time of day. I know these details about the individuals, but what do I really know? First off, I know that the YouTube videos are being presented to a broad general audience. And just because there's an impression or a view doesn't mean it was done by somebody who has an interest in the content or the products behind the content. I also know that a large percentage of these individuals haven't committed to a subscription, so they haven't committed to subscribe. Now, asking them to subscribe doesn't really mean anything to me because I'm not trying to get YouTube subscribers. I want clients. You want clients. You want people who pay for copywriting services. I know a lot about these individuals. I know their age range, but somebody 65 plus isn't necessarily going to be a good customer for a consulting business or a marketing business unless they own, and now here's the important part, unless they have these other characteristics such as owning $1 million plus business, such as being in my exact target demographic, being ready to sell a business and they want to improve the marketing of the business so that they get a higher sale price for the business. Somebody maybe wants to get out of the business and they want to automate a lot of things so that other people in the business can take care of it. So the key here is to understand that the public is the worst prospect possible. If you know enough about the buyer of your products and services, you aren't just blasting content on YouTube, BitChute, or any other platform, or even writing articles for your blog, because again, you know who the buyer is, so you should instead write materials specifically for that audience. And you might be saying, Justin, well, I'm on these public platforms, I'm on social media so that I can attract people. I'm on LinkedIn so that I can attract people. Time and time again, if you're doing the metrics, you'll see that the people that you attract through public sources, meaning you're broadcasting in public and you're attracting, are the least valuable. For number one, their cost per lead is very high because you're not targeting. You're sending a broadcast out on everybody who's followed you on LinkedIn, which could be considered a list. Your followers on LinkedIn could be considered a list. You send something to that list, and now you're seeing whether or not they are interested by their click-through and becoming a lead on your site, perhaps coming and giving you an email. Well, a lot of the people who follow you, a lot of the people who are your friends on a LinkedIn platform are not as targeted and qualified as the individuals you know to be customer equivalents. So why not go ahead and just put your marketing in front of the people using targeted marketing? Why not just put your message in front of those people that are most highly likely to be in your buying base than to your general list? Now, this is important. Your general list, let's say that's a unit of 100. You may only have a 50% match of perfect ideal customers. But a mailing list that you purchase online through a reputable broker or a advertisement on a targeted platform focusing on your people is going to have an 80 to 90% match with that particular audience. So you have a better efficiency when it comes to the application of your money. Now, you might be saying, well, Justin, I'm writing content because it's free and I can put it free on YouTube. I can put it free on LinkedIn. I can put it free in front of the people. Well, you're still paying for it because you're writing the content. And because you don't have the efficiency of match, you're in fact writing more content to get the same results as quality content in front of highly targeted individuals. So the distraction is because these platforms use the free content you post as a platform for their advertising. So you create as much content as possible. It's in their best interest to tell you how valuable content is. It's in their best interest to get you to publish as much content as possible and stay on the platform as long as possible. And I'm almost out of breath saying this. They are using you where if you create a marketing piece and then use their platform, you can reach people in the marketplace with a specific message, a specific call to action, a specific drive to a landing page that it's perhaps a name squeeze or a lead generation piece, and start getting these people in your house media. It doesn't matter if I have 100 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. If your house mailing list has big goose eggs in it, then you're not going to have the opportunity to follow up with offers. One of the things about the advertising networks online and the advertising, even if you were to rent a mailing list and send a letter in the mail, is that they're going to want to approve your copy. So you can't have as an aggressive copy. Very often you can't have direct selling copy. So you want to be able to get past their censors, get the person on your mailing list, and then start to get to know those individuals specifically. Now, how do we do this? First off, we start with an audience match. What is your audience demographic? Who is your buyer? If you don't currently have enough buyers to know this, who is your ideal buyer? Set up a Dream 100. Those individuals, you can then match their psychographic and demographic characteristics to find specific mailing lists that you can then, last step, send a ad campaign to generate a lead. You can use the generation of leads in order to determine the value of that list or the potentiality of that list, because every lead opportunity is going to be followed up with some kind of initial sale offer. So for example, you are a marketer and you work with agricultural tourism companies. So it's a small farm that does ag tourism. You could just start publishing stuff online. You could publish stuff on and cooperate on certain bulletin boards. You could publish guest articles on certain websites. And yes, this would have a high percentage of potential customers. But if you only work in a geographic area such as the Mid-Atlantic region, then you are going to get people in California. You're going to get people in Arizona. You're going to get people in Canada. You are not targeting enough. So you write your piece for the specific audience, and then you promote that piece using pay-per-click advertising, using postcard campaigns, using rented mailing lists, using other types of things such as ads in specialty publications, so that now you can dial into that specific audience. They will come through to a landing page or they'll request more information, and then you'll send them the information. Maybe it's a mistakes report, tip sheet. Maybe it's some kind of to set up a 5 things you need to know before an initial consultation. And then inside of that kit, you're going to have the offer for the initial consultation. Now, I always recommend a paid consultation, but you might want to do a 15-minute talk if you don't have a big list right now. If you have a big list in-house, not subscribers, not followers, not a big list in-house with email addresses, telephone numbers, and things like that, when you target market, you can do what's called an audience match. You can give the list to a list broker and say, hey, tell me who's a good match. What mailing list should I be renting? And they will use data analytics in order to get you in front of the right people. So again, we have the efficiency. When you broadcast it in the public, you're going to have a 20 to 30% efficiency, meaning 20 and 30% of the people who see it are closely matched to your ideal buyer. But if you rent a list, target market, do an audience match, go down and dial into the demographics, you can get to an 80 or 90% efficiency, where 80 to 90% of the people who your message comes across their desk is going to be highly matched to your buying list. So can you see how this works? You do this for your clients and it'll help them get better results, but you got to do it for yourself, because if you're offering a 15-minute consultation and you're getting 50 of these a week and you're getting no sales, then you have to adjust your parameters. Now, we talk about these adjustments as far as performance measuring and content optimization or topic testing. It's really important that you see from the prospect to the lead generated to the sale all the way through in your analytics. so that you'll know which platforms are useful or not. Because again, you can advertise on YouTube, you can advertise on the Bing advertising network, the Google advertising network, you can advertise on individual publications. And with all those choices, how do you narrow down what works and what doesn't? And we do that through testing of advertisements. Now, if you want to just write articles every week and you want to do a podcast, those things do work. Unfortunately, they don't work fast enough in order to reach a return on investment. Well, I was talking with a prospective client. It's going to be about $20,000 a month retainer, and we're going to do fundraising. And I had to tell them, look, it's going to be a certain amount of time before we're going to start getting enough fundraising revenue to cover the $20,000 a month retainer. So your budget should be X. So it's about six months worth of capital. I feel comfortable if they have that available, that we can start on this effort, because it's going to take 3 to 6 months before they're going to get enough flow with the fundraising for this particular client, because they don't have these measures that we just talked about to get that flow going. Now, let's say I met with a client who had a business plan, a marketing plan. They had a customer avatar. They had 1,000 sales transactions with individual buyers, 1,000 different individual buying units, or even 100 buying units. They had mailing lists that we've used before, or ad campaigns that with test results they've done before. Then we don't need a $20,000 retainer. We could use a $10,000 retainer, because we're going to hit the numbers faster, because we don't have to go and do that demographic work. So let's summarize. First off, if you're just publishing and praying, it's going to take longer to get to the results you're looking for. You're better off with fewer, higher quality pieces of content that are oriented towards lead generation and oriented towards sales. So you write a sales letter and you write 3 to 4 lead generation pieces. And then rather than broadcasting those out there on these different platforms, you go ahead and create content on the platform designed to drive traffic to the landing page, to drive traffic to a phone call, and you put those on the site. They're not going to be popular. You're not going to get a lot of views, but then you come around and you promote them. You promote them specifically to the people whose that message would be a welcome guest, in the sense of what Dan Kennedy says. You want to make sure that you're going to put your message in front of the right audience, and then measure that by the performance, not just the click-throughs, because there's a curiosity factor, but by the leads generated on the landing page. Now, how do we judge the quality of those leads? We judge the quality of those leads with the sales produced from your sales letter. So rather than having 52 articles for your website and 12 newsletters and 52 short form podcasts and 12 long form podcasts, you do one really good sales letter, and you do 3 to 5 lead generation pieces that all send people to the sales letter. And then you measure your results with leads generated, and you measure results with your sales. Now, unfortunately for a lot of you, it still might be 52 podcast episodes and 12 big newsletter articles or featured articles, because you need to build up the context that helps that prospect know that they're in the right place. But again, that funnel's taken care of. You've got the lead generation pieces. You might write some short form, long form A/B splits to try to get people to the landing page. Once they're at the landing page, you can compare that with the people you sent directly to the landing page using a Google ads campaign. And then at the end, you can measure out how much did you spend, how many leads did you produce, that's your cost per lead, and go on from there. Can you see how they're both similar approaches, but one shortens the time frame to results? And you might be saying, well, Justin, I don't have the money to pay for ad campaigns. I can't do a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month ad campaign. And I say, well, then get on the phone and start calling people. Send individual emails to people. Start a Dream 100 list. Do something. Get a full-time job. Do something. Find a bread and butter service. Do something to start getting the revenue there, because you're going to spend the same amount of money. Whether you spend the money now and get results now, or you spend the money through trial and error over time, I would think that the results now will start getting you the income to cover your marketing costs. And of course, your rate, there's a lot of factors about rates and things, but we can talk about some other time. But the key to understand here is that just throwing it up against the wall or throwing it out on a social media platform or doing a YouTube video without the audience targeting, without the testing and the analytical measures, is you're just going to waste time. And I don't want you to waste time. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. You can ask me questions at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Simply go to the contact page and fill out the details there and ask your questions, and I'll be more than happy to reply with an answer, as well as feature some of the questions on our podcast, which is available at www.adbriefings.co.uk. Thanks for listening.